Welcome, new and old friends. My name is 242, and today I have 5 stories of malicious compliance found for us by 2. All of these stories have to do with customers. Some about how sometimes they ask for something and you give them just what they want. Others about customers just not listening no matter what you do. So with that, grab yourself a tea or coffee before I read you these tales. Oh, I'll fill your donut, lady. Backtrack to 1987. Times were good, jobs were plentiful, and little 14-year-old me walked into a job as a bakery assistant. Even the 4:30 a.m. starts didn't put me off. I rolled in every Saturday morning and worked like a trooper. About 2 months in, someone complained about the donuts not having enough jam in them. I wasn't responsible for this, but the lady was having none of it and demanded a new one, full this time, not like the last one. Well, okay then. In the back of the bakery was a donut fill machine. It was like a jam vat with a spike and a pump handle. I took an already filled donut, put in 3 more pumps in. It was quite round. Another pump, and it was looking pretty much fit to burst. Back at the counter, the lady was looking impatient, so I hurriedly placed the weaponized donut in a box, gave it to her, apologized, and off she went. The car park was visible from the shop. She made it back there before opening the white box and taking out the sugary goodness she'd asked for. I saw her bite it and recoil in absolute horror as the donut exploded all over her blouse. I laughed my head off. The shop owner found it less funny, but realized the irony of it. For a moment, I thought she was going to come in and complain, but she obviously realized she got exactly what she asked for. She never complained again, but I was also never ever trusted with the donut fill machine again either. OP weaponized a donut. I think this woman got her just desserts. Pun intended. Let's move on. You want your Coke without ice, filled all the way, or you'll demand a manager? Well, since you insist. Back when I was a teen, in the day of yore, I did my mandatory stint at McDonald's. Being female, and having a strong desire to work in the kitchen in order to avoid dealing with people, that meant that I spent every shift front and center on the register, smiling at people until I got facial cramps. Keyword back then was female. Female equal register, male equal kitchen. So I smiled and did the bare minimum. Things beyond the bare minimum included calculating how much Coke went in a cup without ice. Way too much effort, so just fill it to the top. Who cares, eh? You can see where this is going. 2 gents come in, forgot the rest of the order, but one had a large Coke without ice. I gave it to them, brain miles away. Triumphantly, he pushes the Coke back at me and says loudly enough for the restaurant to hear, "And now you can fill it all the way to the top." Then pulls the top off. With hindsight, he probably should have done it the other way around. It was full to the top. My manager rushed over, apologized profusely to him, pours out 2 inches, then hands it back. Promises to speak to me. Without ice, it should be a lot less. Manager didn't really care. He was cool. But damn, the customer's face was a hoot. Maybe next time, buddy, you'll double check that it's not already full before you make an ass out of yourself, eh? I personally don't get ice in my pop anymore. I got used to it after I got my wisdom teeth pulled, and now I find that since I drink my drinks so slow, it doesn't get watered down by the end. So, leave me a comment down below. Do you take your pop with or without ice? Karen's lie gets backfired. Restaurant story. So, I had a job at the same fast food restaurant off and on for a total of 5 years. And in these years, I have witnessed so many entitled parents and kids and malicious compliance stories that I could write a book about it. I will start with this one. Also, sorry for some bad grammar. Some backstory. I started my job the same moment the restaurant was set up. So in these years, I got to know a lot about the company itself and knew most of the locations. I also knew that our restaurant was the most north restaurant in the country, and the province next to us, let's call it Province L, had no restaurant within the franchise. Not every employee knew this, but I did. I also knew that when new products that needed to get tested by the community, this would be the restaurant in the capital of the country, Capital Restaurants. And my province and Province L were nowhere near these restaurants. Because of my experience and bond I had with the employees and customers, the managers knew that I did not need help with crazy customers, only when I called them. On to the story. There was a new vegetarian option tested only in the Capital Restaurants. Not every customer knew this, so when they asked for the product, I would explain that we're not part of the test group. I always got a good response to this. Until this happened. On a not-so-busy night, a young Karen walked in and bolted for my cash register. The conversation went something like this. Welcome to restaurant. How can I help?
I want your vegetarian option now.
Sorry, miss. Only the Capital Restaurants belong to the test group. Sadly, we don't serve that option yet.
You are lying. I had it yesterday at Province L, and they told me it was served everywhere, so I want it. And since the customer is always right, you need to serve me what I asked.
And that's when I placed my trap card. We cashiers get yelled at a lot, but since I knew she was lying or mistaking us for another restaurant and yelling, I decided to play along. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was confused about another product. I haven't had that sandwich yet. Is it any good?
I really liked it, and I'm happy that you finally have a vegan option for the sandwiches.
We already had that. I see. There's only one problem. You see, I know for a fact that Province L doesn't serve any of these sandwiches. Even better, none of our restaurants are in Province L. Karen's face became red, but not from shame. Oh no, from anger.
Don't have that tone with me. I want to speak to your manager.
So I called my manager. Trap card activated. You see, I knew that my manager was in the kitchen, out of view from the customers. And I knew that when Karen started screaming from the first time, my manager was listening in. Manager with a large grin.
What seems to be the problem?
Your employee had an attitude. I want a discount.
Me, Karen wanted to order the vegan option that she ordered at our restaurant in Province L. Manager grabbed his phone and showed Karen the list of all the restaurants and all the provinces. And what a surprise! Province L was not on there.
You see, it might be the case that you've mistaken us for another franchise. In that case, I will not do anything. But since you started to yell at my employee, I would ask you to get the hell out of my restaurant, or do you want me to call security?
Karen's face was priceless. With both anger and conviction, she stormed off. But not before I told her to have a nice day. I personally wish more managers were like this and were actually able to listen to their employees and take their side when they are actually in the right. This Karen was, well, a Karen, and I'm happy that she did not get her way. Customer wanted to know how much, so I gave her a price. This occurred 22 years ago when I worked as an inbound call auto and home insurance agent in all 50 states. I would sit in my cubicle for 8 hours a day, taking incoming phone calls from people who could get a discount on their insurance because of who they worked for. I answer the phone with my normal, cheerful self, and a woman cuts me off and asks me how much her auto insurance will be. This isn't uncommon, so I started to ask her questions. Me, what state are you in? Her, I'm not telling you. Me, what company you work for? Her, I'm not telling you. At this point, I explained that rates vary by state, and the discounts vary by company. If your coworkers are crappy risks, you get less discount. Her, I just want to know how much it's going to cost to insure my car. Me, what kind of car? Her, I'm not telling you. I have to know the year, make, and model at least, because costs vary based on that information. Her, fine, it's a red one. At this point, I have done my very best, but after 10 minutes, I've had enough. Me, well, that car will run you no more than $1 million a year. Her, why so much? Me, well, I don't have much detail, and each state, company, and car are different. If you were to answer my questions, I could narrow that cost down. Her, that is ridiculous, and hangs up. At that point, I got called into the manager's office and promptly got a written warning about how I handled that call, and I should have been more understanding to her request. Yes, he was listening to the whole call, and it was a legit customer, not a work. What do you mean that wasn't enough information for you? The red ones go fast. Yeah, OP was right. It's going to be under $1 million, but with more info, they could get more info. I'm sorry that OP got written up for this, but you know what? You maliciously complied, and that was great. Typical McDonald's compliance. I worked at a fast food giant for about 18 months in the mid-90s, and before I left, and had quite a few good stories. Just wrapped up reading someone else's, and it reminded me of this. So I'm working the assembly line during a closing shift. Yes, fast food wasn't open 24/7 back in the 90s. So I'm alone toasting buns, getting condiments on all the orders, while cleaning. Orders come in from the front with a grill slip, indicating a custom order. Quarter pounder burger, only extra ketchup. The ketchup dispenser has a thumb lever for normal amount and one for a double amount. If I recall, some of the burgers came with a double shot of ketchup, but this one didn't, I think. I dropped 2 double shots, which is what they trained us to do. Anyways, send it down the line after adding the burger, the top bun, and the slip on the top of the box. Big surprise! Not enough ketchup. I'm almost positive I was told by the cashier they wanted swimming. The kitchen was small, like they all are, so all 4 of us working, cashier, drive-thru, grill, and me know what's going on and smile. So I must have given this burger 15 double squirts of ketchup. If you've ever had one of those sandwiches, you know how big the box is. It had to have been filled from the bottom with ketchup up to the top bun. Cashier brings it back up, guy opens the lid, smiles, walks away. No one loves ketchup that much. OP, you are wrong. I have known people to like ketchup this much, and it's kinda disgusting. But your malicious compliance made a customer very happy either way, and they got what they asked for. I hope you enjoyed these malicious compliance stories. Remember to leave me a comment on any of the stories you enjoyed, or even if you have any ideas of other subreddits you'd like me to read. If you enjoyed these stories, then hit that like button and make sure it feels it. If you want more, subscribe. We are now at 35 subscribers. That's crazy to me. And of course, come back Sunday for my spooky, scary Sunday tales, found for us by 42. I know you all need a good chill in this summer heat. Goodbye, my friends.